Hi everyone, it's Dee's from Turtle Dove. Today I'm going to show you how I prettied up these beautiful little gift boxes. I purchased a pack of 2, I think you get, for $3. So I bought 2 black ones and they have beautiful lids on them. Well, they're not beautiful yet, but they will be. And then I've already made 2 and they were white ones. So keep watching, and at the end of the video I'll show you the 2 that are finished. But I'll probably you'll probably get to see all of these. I've got 4 all up in a project share in the future. I'll quickly show you as well. But anyway, I have a couple of these ready for embellishing. So I'll just talk you quickly through what I did to the box. Basically just painted the box and the lid, and I've had these paints for literally years. I can't believe I can still paint with them or use the paints, to be honest. They haven't dried out. Some of them have dried out, but others haven't. So I think probably about 85% of the paints are good after sitting in a shed for years and then storage for a year. So the Jo Sonias, I used Sapphire, Storm Blue and Ultra Deep Blue. I don't even know if you can get the colours anymore. Also Semco Acrylic in Aqua. So I used basically a palette knife and dotted the colours down, and then just played around with the palette knife and painted it that way. If I've got time, I don't know if I'll do it on this video or another one, I can show you the technique that I used. It's not really a technique really, but it's just using the palette knife. And I might be able to paint the bottom of this. This is the top to this one, all in fiery, warm, hot colours, because I'm going to put a heart on the top of this one with some hot glue and then paint over that. So getting back to this, I have placed all my embellishments that I'm going to use on the lid ready. I took a photo with my camera so that I remember the placement of everything. It took me a good half hour to sort of play around and see what I wanted to do. So as you can see, it's an ocean scene. I might just zoom in a little bit, and then you might be able to see a little bit better. I have a shell die, and I have used some glitter gold, some white and some holographic pink, which is more of a plastic type paper, and that was very, very hard. That the die wouldn't cut that one. It sort of half went through, so I just had to cut around it. So that's why I'm using the pink in the background. And I have a seahorse, starfish, some little mermaid flat back buttons, and some more little tiny rhinestones for the bubbles, the air bubbles coming up from the seahorse, and some flat back pearls for inside the shell and around the shell. And I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful. So I will probably be keeping this one myself, but the other 3 I'm going to give away as gifts and things. So, and just look at the colours, how they came out. So I tried to that's the back. I just basically cleaned the palette knife on the back just to give it that effect. It didn't quite cover everything. And as you can see, one end's light and then it goes to the dark. The same with the lid, which you can't see properly because all the embellishment's on there, but obviously it gets deeper at the bottom of the ocean, so I've started with the dark and then just sort of used the lighter colours at the top. Okay, so let's just pop up the picture that I took with my camera. And that's always a good idea because you can forget. There we go. So now I know how I've placed that and I can refer to that when I need to. And I'm going to use a combination of hot glue and some E6000. So I'm just going to start heating up the hot glue and get right into gluing some of this down. Got all my tools here. Ready. So I'm going to start with some of the bigger things. So I think I'll just carefully take this seahorse off, and here we go. Pop it there where you can see. And I'll start gluing. In fact, actually, I might hopefully I won't be able to, well, I won't have to move too many items, embellishments off. I've got a little toothpick. I've just opened this E6000. I've run out of my little tubes, the tiny little ones. These are very expensive, this glue. I think it was about $30. So I'm just going to dab that where I want it. Just a little bit of glue. And then pop that down. Do that with all of them. Just needs a dot. And also, after the paint dried, I just put a coat of gloss Mod Podge on the top and let that dry very well. So yeah, I thought I would just embellish and let those of you who want to watch me watch. I know some people don't like watching the process. But I myself like to watch the process, and you can always fast forward through the bits that you may know how to do or whatever. But now and then I think it's always nice to see how someone puts things together. So So that glue is clear, so it's not going to matter if you see a little bit of it. I think using the hot glue for the very fine things here, it's just going to make more of a mess than it's worth, which is why I'm using the E6000. It's very therapeutic, I think, crafting. I'll just put that one down, forgetting which ones I've stuck down. This one doesn't want to move. There we go. So I've had these sea side themed embellishments for a while now, and I've wanted to make a project using it for some time. So I'm happy to be finally using them. I've got 2 left. This is, by the way, for those who don't know, this is just like a wax pencil, and I used it for nail art originally, but they're perfect for picking up little rhinestones. Just makes life so much easier. So if you don't have one, I just bought mine online. This one. Right. The glue's already thickening on the toothpick. There we go. It's our little dog. Just need the smallest amount. Meanwhile, I'm probably losing all my hot glue while it's just sitting there. Okay. I'll leave that there. There we go. Perfect. Now, the seahorse. Hopefully I won't be moving too many other things out the way. Now I'm going to use both just to give it extra strength because it is a lid. So you'll be using it, moving it a fair bit. So just going to put a bit of this E6000 at the top and the bottom. It's a little bit on the tail and the head. And then some of the hot glue smack in the middle, and that should make it quite strong. And that way it's going to adhere reasonably quick as soon as the hot glue cools down. So that's just not going to fall anywhere there. So now look at these buttons. They have the scale on them. Beautiful. Where's the rest? I've got a packet of a dozen. Some are white and iridescent, some are blue, some are more green, purple and pink. Absolutely beautiful. And This was $4 for 12, and I think I bought this from on eBay from a lady in Queensland. So I might do the same, just put a little dot of that E6000 and a little bit of the hot glue. Just pop it down. Now I'll start with the starfish and there's a little button here and a little rhinestone heart at the corner. So I'll do the rhinestone heart first. This is light enough it won't move with the cold glue. Pop that on the corner like so. Do the same with the sort of a bluey green, beautiful, it's got like swirls in it. And this one, got a packet, yellow, white, red. This was $3.81 for 50 from eBay. So I don't think these embellishments are going to move anywhere. I won't have to worry about them falling off unless someone pries them off. Now I'm going to leave that starfish and this rhinestone. I'll take them off because I have to stick the shell down first, and that's exactly why I took a photo of my layout, just so I don't forget where I got it from. So now I'm just going to do this starfish here on the corner. Making sure nothing's hanging off the sides. And take these off. Wonder if I can take this off without flicking the pearls everywhere, which I probably would, so I'm going to take them off myself. That's already slightly sticking to the box because the Mod Podge has been there for a couple of days, but it can still, it still hasn't set completely dry. So I think the best way with this, I'm not going to use a hot glue on this one because it can melt being plastic. So I'm just going to get a little bit down the bottom, stick that down, now this is where I'm going to use my phone. Stick I'll get it a little bit more glue. Just on the wants to curl up a little bit. And then on the other side too. That'll probably want to pop up a little bit. There we go. Now I'm not going to stick anything at the very end, not the top here, because I want to give it a bit of depth. So now same with this one. I'm just going to put the slightest amount of hot glue just at the bottom. But first I just want to make sure that I'm going to position this correctly, and I'm not worried if it's going to cover a little bit of the starfish. That's why I put the starfish down first, just a little bit. Just let it cool for a sec. I don't want it melting that plastic underneath. Okay, let's get this right. Perfect. Looking good. And this white paper has little holographic circles on there. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but it looks gorgeous. I was fiddling around with the arrangement of the shells. I was trying to put the pink up the front and then the gold, and this is, I think, it looks the best. I've also got this hot pink that I tried to use too, but that just didn't, I didn't like that with the colour scheme, so I'm sort of sticking to greens and blues and whites. Okay, so I think I'll just use the hot glue for this one. And now that's it so far. And see that pink plastic sheet there? It sort of looks green when you move it, and pink at other times, so it's absolutely beautiful. And together with the flat back pearls, it just looks gorgeous. Okay, so now what am I going to use for that? I think I'm going to unplug the glue stick, because I don't know if I'll be needing that anymore. The rest of the embellishments are way too small. So let's put these pearls on the shells. They just bring them out beautifully, I think. Just zoom in a little bit more, I think. There we go. Third, just there. one. I think I've got enough for this one. Doesn't have to be exact, but just gives you a rough idea. If you take a picture working on things you can forget the best, and you can always change it too, that's no problem. Add more. I did want to add glitter, but I thought it's probably a bit much. I'm getting a bit carried away. Sometimes less is best, as I always say. Okay, so now I'm going to pop the pearls underneath and lifting the top shell just a little bit, gives it a bit more texture and definition and depth. You can really personalise this sort of thing. You know, if someone loves the beach, or someone else might love unicorns or gardening or food. That's my son, I'll have to ring him back. In fact, I might ring him back now because it might be important, so I'll just do these pearls and I'll be right back with you. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Okay, I'm going to ring my son and I'll be right back. Hi guys, I'm back. Actually 3 hours later. My son, I went out with them just for an hour or so and come back and had coffee here. So family's more important, they always come first. So now let's finish this off. This is all nice and dry now, which is good. So I have one more rhinestone and this little starfish, which was actually a charm, and I just snipped it off with some metal cutters. And I bought this on eBay as well. 13 piece and $12. So you get all these assortment of shells and starfish. So I thought one of those would look nice just on the bottom there. So I'll put those back in quickly. It's a beautiful day here today, 29 degrees Celsius I think it's going to be. It's quite warm outside, but it's a beautiful day. I always love this time of the year, towards the end of summer, at the beginning of autumn. The weather's just really, really nice and mild. Still warm. Still get your hot days, but I think they're becoming less and less now. So let's refer to the picture I've done, because it's been a while. So this one can go here, and the other one can go just over there. Right, so that came in handy actually. I'm glad I took that. picture. Now I'm just going to use the E6000 because this is metal. I don't want to lose that, so that can go just there, like that. And that's nice and thick and gluggy, so I can pick it up, no worries, and it's not going to fall straight off because it's not too heavy. Let's get a bit of that excess glue off. And lastly, a little blue rhinestone. So I'm changing it anyway to what the photo was. I think it was around here on the photo. I think I'll leave it there. So pop some on the little toothpick, which I find handy for crafting. Put that there. There we go. So, isn't that pretty? The colours of the background, I'm happy with that. So, I have these bits of sequins and things that I'm not sure whether I'll use or not, but let's see. I might put some of these little miniature sequins. There's a couple of little bigger ones there, but they're just all the lovely blues and a couple of blacks in there, and I might just pull a little bit of those just at the bottom around here. I don't know if I'll use any of these. I don't think I will, because there comes a point where it just gets too much, I think, too busy, but I'm normally all for bling. So let's just see what we can do with this. I think it's easy just to cut it. It's stapled. Okay. So I might get my Mod Podge, and I might even, maybe I could sprinkle some along the bottom here and then have it falling, have some falling down the bottom. But I might have to do that in 2 stages. Wait until the top dries and then turn it over and stick some on the side, because the Mod Podge isn't very tacky and it's just going to slip right off. So now what can I do? Get a brush and get an angled brush. A little bit. And the glue there. Pull some of these out already, and see what I can do here. I want to put it on pretty thick because I do want the sequins to adhere properly. I do really need to buy fairly tacky glue. Yeah, this is going to look really nice. Just sort of letting them drop wherever they want to drop for now. And I can build this up and let that dry and then put a little bit more glue here and there and build it up that way. Here's a teeny little one. Yep. Oh, that's pretty. Just pushing those down. They stick. So get a dark one. That's the navy blue. That looks gorgeous. Let's zoom in a little bit more. No. There we go. Just pushing it around a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to cover that with glue once it's dry, just to make sure it's going to remain stuck. Because some of these sequins aren't completely flat, so that's why I want to use plenty of the glue. There we go. And might just put a couple here. Now this is on the side, sort of angled at the top here. So hopefully they won't slide down while they're drying. I don't want to put too much glue there. I'll try and use the flat ones, I think. I need coloured ones. The white just washes out too much. Okay. That looks perfect. I'm really happy with how that's turning out. And maybe I'll put a little bit on this side. Just a little bit here under the starfish. And then I'll come back this evening and finish the side off. Make sure that's dry. So it's sort of looks like sequined blue sand. My style of sand. Here we go. So that's just about done. Let's pop the rest of the sequins back in the bag. Very small. So let's zoom out again. Make sure the lighter colour at the top. I'm not going to push it all the way down because it still hasn't cured completely, the paint or the Mod Podge at the top. So I'm really happy with that. That looks really cute. And now I'll quickly take you through. This will probably be obviously a longer video, but I just want to show you how I got this effect. I'll just do one side for you, otherwise it's just going to take too long. I can show you at the end. I'll show you the finished box and the other two boxes I have when I come back and everything's dried and finished. And this box will be finished as well. As I said, I'm going to pop a heart with the hot glue on this and finish it off that way. But I will just get my little palette knife, and all I did was pop a little bit of each of the colours that I'm using. So I'm using Naphthol Crimson, Cadmium Orange, Gold Oxide. Hopefully these are all fine. I didn't check these paints. Yep, some of them are a little bit thicker than the others, but they have been sitting there for years. And yellow. So I've sort of went from light, dark to light. And you just play around with the colours. So the coat's going to be a little bit thicker than if you brush it on, but the effect's well worth it. So each side will look a little bit different. I'll do one more. Just clean the palette knife. Maybe we can put more yellow on the next side. This has got a thick clump in it, I can feel it, that's why it's not coming out. And just a little bit of the red. Just making sure I'm getting the edges of the sides of the box meat. And just getting the tip of the top of the box there. So that's it. And I've just touched that side. So each side of the box is going to turn out slightly different. And it doesn't matter if some of the black comes through, but you can always go back over that. So that's it, guys. I'm going to come back later tonight or tomorrow. I want to finish this box for you so I can show you all 4 boxes finished. So we'll see you soon. Hi everyone, I'm back. It's been a little bit over 24 hours. I have finished, almost finished. I've got one little thing to do. I'll show you which box that is on. But I'd like to show you all the 4 boxes that I've done. So this is the ocean themed box. And I think when I left you last, I was going to place some of these little miniature sequins just along the bottom and then spilling on the side of the lid, sort of mimicking a bit of sand. So this can be gemstone sand or blingy sand. But I'm really happy with how that turned out. And don't know if you can see, but the seahorse has little, it's sort of just has a touch of the holographic glitter through the resin. And I love how I did the rhinestone air bubbles, and I'm really loving the mermaid button there. And I do like how I sort of layered the shell. I was originally just going to use one, and even though, as I said, the plastic sheet at the back here, which is actually pink but it's coming out green, see the pink there? Depends on how you move it, but I just love how that turned out. Even though it didn't punch the plastic properly, I could still use it, and I just cut around the edges. I put an extra faux pearl on the front shell, and I love how the gold shows through of that holographic white paper. So it's really hard for me to choose a favourite, so it has to be this. I think I'll keep this one myself, and I'd probably give the other 3 away. But look at the colours on there. That's just the underside of it. I left a little bit rough, and I left a lot of black on there. But I just finished using the rest of the paint. But I really love how that looks. So I'm definitely going to make another project with an ocean thing. So that's that one. Okay, I'll show you the heart. The orange, I call it the Hearts on Fire. And this is still a little bit tacky, but this is how the lid turned out. So I just used the hot glue, and I just drew on a piece of cardboard and paper the hearts that I want, and it's really easy to do. You just put a fold in the paper and then sort of cut a cone shape out with a, pretend there's an ice cream on the top. And then you open the fold, and there you have a heart. And I did the same with the little heart. So I just traced that onto the box and then followed that with the hot glue, let it cool. Then I put some Mod Podge on top of with a fine brush on top of the glue that had dried, and then I sprinkled it with glitter. Only thing I've got to do with this one is, if you don't want glitter everywhere, just pop a bit more Mod Podge on the top or some clear lacquer, and that will save you getting glitter everywhere, but this isn't too bad at all. And then I've just used some of these flower buttons and 2 big yellow ones and pop those in the hearts. I've sort of placed this heart a bit more on the side, on its side, just to give it a bit, I don't know, just a different look. So yeah, that's still hasn't cured. Sometimes glues and things can take a good week or so, or even more, to cure. Even though you think it's dry, if you put 2 of the surfaces together, you can muck your project up. So don't be too impatient, just let it dry, and in time. Another trick is not to put it on too thick, so thin coats. But yeah, in time it'll dry, and then you'll be able to use it without the worry of it sticking to another surface, and then when you lift it up you lose all your paint and all your hard work. So, and just give you a quick look on the sides. Look at this, I love how that turned out. You can do so much with paints, and each side's different. And I thought with all of these I'll probably do a little surprise, so that when you lift the lid off the box, I'm thinking with this one I have this flower that I made. I'll just pop that in the centre underneath, so there's a nice little decorative surprise when you lift it up. So on the ocean themed box I might put another little seahorse there, or maybe even another shell. Now see, this is what I'm talking about. This lid doesn't want to come off now. I've only had it on there for a little minute, but this still hasn't cured 100%, so I'm just going to place it on carefully, and then when I've finished filming I'm going to separate them for a few more days. So isn't that one gorgeous too? I can't pick a favourite. So the first 2 I made, which I haven't shown you yet. This one's the very deep burgundy purples. I'll just show you the box. You can see some of the purples coming through, and I've lined this one with some tissue paper and some washi tape on the inside, because these are the white boxes. I think the black's better to work with, to be honest. And with this design, I wanted to do a flower top design, and I didn't know, I'm not very good at just, you know, winging it by hand, but I did copy this design. I got this from Daiso, I think. But it's got sort of, here it is, this one here. Just like a rose. So I just freehanded that one. Sort of put this next to me and copied it. And the little swirly things I put on each corner. And then on the side of the box. Again with hot glue. And then once that had cooled, just painted it, lacquered it with the Mod Podge. And then the gold is this. I've had this for over 20 years and I don't think you can get it anymore, but it's a waxy gold paste. It's very hard at the moment. It's been sitting there for years. It's so dry. It's a wonder I even got any colour out of it, but I have to try and rehydrate it a bit with some oil maybe. Might have to do some reading. But it's MS200 gold. I don't think you can get it anymore. But that gives any projects a nice antique look. You put a little bit on your finger and then just wipe it, especially on the corners. Don't know if you can see that. There's on the edges. I went a bit heavy-handed here, but it still turned out good. Just gives it a bit of a different look. So these are made not a long time ago, but I don't know, a week or two beforehand, before I started the other two, and you can tell they're a lot easier to handle because all the paints and the glues have cured. And lucky last is this box. So I wanted to make it look a bit stormy. I didn't do too well, but hence the blue and the dark colours. And again, I finished it off with that gold antique look on the edges. And I stickled a little bit of glitter glue underneath. I didn't want to put it on the top too much. I did put some on the sides. And this one has the tissue paper in there, and I've put some gold washi tape on the inside tips. So this is just blues and greens. So you have the dark blue and then the green. And then these little things here, where are they? They're actually, again, a nail art decorative item. They're tiny, tiny little seedy things. Have a whole jar full of them, but I use it for crafting because I don't like the feel of those on my nails. So I put some blue and gold, just stuck that down with some Mod Podge, a little bit of glitter here and here, and of course the hot glue made little wavy squiggly patterns, and I carried that through to the sides of the lid as well, and finished it off with that antiquing gold stuff. So that's it, that's my boxes, and again that one's easy to come off. So I'd love to revisit this, doing this project again. It's really fun using different themes and such. So I think these two are my favourite. What do you like? Let me know. Okay, thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.